in conversation with the immigration attorneys of the NPZ Law Group, serving immigrants and employers throughout the US, Canada, and around the world. Snehal Batra is managing attorney at NPZ Law Group's Raritan office. Hi, Snehal.
Hi, namaste Vijaya, કેમ છો?
હું સારું છું, તમે કેમ છો? Welcome. And Snehal, I know of the television reality series 90 Day Fiance, but then there is also 90 Day Fiance Visa. What is that?
Right. Yes, I think everybody's heard of that show. Very entertaining, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the Fiance Visa is also known as the K-1 non-immigrant visa. It's for foreign national fiancés of U.S. citizens. So green card holders cannot apply for a K-1 or fiance visa for their foreign national fiancés. It's only available to U.S. citizens. So U.S. citizens file a fiance visa petition with the Immigration Service, which allows their fiance to travel to the U.S. on the K-1 visa to marry the U.S. citizen fiance within 90 days of their arrival. That's why it's called the 90-day fiance visa. They have only 90 days once the foreign national fiance travels to the U.S. to get married. Okay.
The clock is ticking. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. It also allows for children of the K-1 visa applicant to travel on K-2 visas if they're listed on the petition. Okay. So if you're, of course, already married, then you don't qualify as a fiance. Okay. So that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And the process to bring your foreign national fiance involves 3 different agencies. First, we're dealing with the USCIS, which approves the fiance petition. Then the Department of State, which issues the K-1 visa. And then lastly, CBP, who ultimately decides whether or not to admit the K-1 to the U.S. So you start by filing the petition with immigration. Of course, both individuals must be legally free to marry each other when they file the petition. So that means all previous marriages must be legally terminated by divorce, death, or an annulment. And you have to prove that your relationship with the fiance is legitimate. So evidence includes photos, text, gifts, if you've met each other. In fact, you have to prove that you have seen each other in person within the past 2 years when you file. Okay, so there is an exception though. Sometimes, some cultures like, our Indian culture, they may not allow to meet each other before marriage in some cases. So though that could be an exception to the in-person meeting requirement. Okay. Yeah. Also, same-sex couples are eligible for the K-1 fiance visa as well. Okay. So once a petition is filed and approved, it's sent to the National Visa Center and then the Department of State for an interview. And each applicant completes the DS-160, provides all the evidence. And in some cases, like the Mumbai consulate, for example, they may ask you to provide additional evidence that you intend to marry your fiance within 90 days. So typically they want to see that plans have been made, the venue, contracts with your vendors, concrete wedding plans. So, India is very keen on seeing that the individuals have made plans, wedding invitation, guest list, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's not like a sham marriage.
Exactly. Well, supposed to be not a sham marriage, right? Yeah. So, and then once the visa is issued, it's valid for 6 months. So your fiance has to travel. It's a single entry visa. So once they arrive, you basically have 90 days. That's when the clock starts to tick to marry each other. And if you do get married to each other, okay, now your fiance is a spouse, and as a U.S. citizen, spouse of a U.S. citizen, you are eligible to apply for a green card or adjustment of status. Okay, also K-2 children would be eligible for adjustment of status if they qualify. There'll be an interview for the green card. And of course, if the marriage is less than 2 years old, then you are a conditional green card, which we talked about in a previous show. If you don't, let's say you don't marry within the 90 days, okay, and you marry, let's say, 5 months later or 6 months later, it's not a problem. But now you actually have to do an additional step by filing a relative petition with the adjustment of status, because See, the K-1 status automatically expires after 90 days, and you can't extend that. So if you don't get married and you don't intend to marry the fiance, they have to leave the U.S. Okay, because if not, now they're going to be in a precarious situation. So, what we do is when many times clients will ask, should we get married or do the fiance visa? And ultimately it depends on the goals of the couple. And so what we advise them to do is, let's go over where you want to get married, what are the options, and then let's best determine what option is best for you. So please call us if you have any questions about this process, so we can give you, specific advice for your situation.
Yes, absolutely. Lots to consider. And of course, you'll be in the right hands when you reach out to NPZ Law. They'll help you with all of that. And thank you so much, Snehal, for that